Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Thank you so much, Anna and the whole Creative Mornings team. Also for Inigo for hosting us. Thank you all for getting up so early to come in today. I can't believe everyone's here so early on a Friday. Amazing. Let's get going. Okay, my talk is called Cycles 101, Reintroducing the OG of Time and Energy Management, and I matched my slides, of course, today. Just for you. So before we begin, I want to share a little personal story with you because I think it's really important. This is my grandpa, Al. When I was 12, we went to San Diego together with my brother and his new wife, and I got my period there for like the second or the third time. I was woefully unprepared. I didn't bring any pads or anything. After a few hours of like shoving toilet paper into my underwear and being really bummed that I wouldn't be able to go swimming, I finally mustered up the courage to ask his wife if we could go to the store to get the things that I need. And so within an hour, we were at the store, and my brother and my grandpa went to the toy aisle, and she took me to the period aisle and helped me pick out some pads that would be appropriate for me. And so we're walking back to the cashier, and I'm holding my pads in my hand, and then my grandpa and my brother are coming, and I start freaking out. So I put my pads onto the conveyor belt, eyes down, hands sweaty, super shaky, and my heart is racing. My grandpa turns to me, grabs my shoulders, and goes, "Honey, I see that you're so embarrassed right now, but listen, you have no reason to be ashamed. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing that has happened to you, and I'm so proud of you as your grandpa, and I'm so happy to get you anything that you need, okay?" I looked at him, mortified. There was people behind us in line, like starting to pile up. I wanted the moment to be over as fast as I could, so I shook my head. So the reason I tell this story is because it was my grandpa, not my dad, who actually showed me the kind of support, encouragement, and understanding that would actually really impact my life. So let's actually start. So a little bit about me, Queen of Menstrual Health. When I first moved to Berlin 12 years ago, I took a job as a communications manager at a social impact organization here in Kreuzberg. And I was tasked to start the communications for Global Menstrual Hygiene Day, which is celebrated on the 28th of May every single year. This is where I first started working on menstrual advocacy and fell head over heels in love with the topic. This is where I first realized this is how inequality begins between boys and girls, the second that girls get their periods. After that, I founded my own nonprofit called the Menstrual Health Hub, which was to centralize education, research, policy, and innovation around the topic, and then started a consulting agency called Marami, working with large players like these ones here to help push forward their period initiatives. I've worked for UNICEF, helping bring menstrual innovation to the fore, as well as now with Essence, which is a period tracker for the workplace that helps align schedules and menstrual cycles. And now, and actually just for the next 2 days, I am finishing giving tours at the Museum for European Culture on the menstruation exhibition. So if you are interested, please come in today or tomorrow or Sunday for the very last days of this 18-month exhibition that's been going on. And now, as of this past weekend, I am officially a certified hormone health coach for women and those that are dealing with menstrual and menopause issues. So I work holistically around nutrition, movement, health, sleep, reducing toxic burden, and of course, stress reduction. So enough about me. Let's talk about cycles, yeah? So before we begin going into this, you have these little Post-its that are close to you. I would love for you to record on the Post-its different notes about the different aspects of the cycle so that later you can stick them up on this beautiful cycle graphic that I made that Anna printed out. And so this is something that we can all collectively do together and be mapped onto this larger cycle, okay? Cool. Okay, so before we begin, let's take a deep breath, huh? Yeah, feels good, huh? So, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to speak about cycles. Our world is built on cycles. We have economic cycles that go from Great Depressions to golden eras. We have the changing seasons which guide nature, with each one of them having a pretty major impact on how we view the world. I mean, here in Berlin, spring is coming and we're all so excited about that. The moon changes shape every single night in monthly cycles, and the rising and the setting of the sun dictates how we understand daily time. So also we think about nature, plants, right? Plants respond to this daily rhythm by furling their leaves out towards the sun or their petals, and then unfurling them again, closing when the sun sets. Even our breath, this cycle that we have with us every single moment of the day, is a cycle of expansion and contraction, okay? Just like life itself. So let's actually get into that. I would like to invite you to close your eyes if you feel called to and comfortable, and take a slow inhale for 4 counts. Expand. Hold for 4. Feel that energy build. Exhale for 4. Release. Hold empty for 4. And rest. We can inhale normally now. This is the rhythm of life. Expansion and contraction, action and rest. It mirrors every cycle in nature, including our own biological rhythms. Yet, somewhere along the way, half of the population became so disconnected from their own rhythm, the half that bears life. Instead, we've been forced to obey a more linear system, one that doesn't match our biology, pushing through exhaustion, ignoring the body's signals, and structuring our lives around something that actually wasn't designed for us. We live in a world that was built around the specific cycle that created these systems, the 24-hour testosterone cycle of a human male. A world where every day looks the same, energy is expected to be constant, and productivity is demanded of us day in and day out. But what if all of our bodies didn't work like that? What if half the population experiences this same kind of cycle, but stretched out over the course of a month instead of a day? For those of us with menstrual cycles, our time management system isn't daily, it's monthly, and understanding the difference between these two hormonal rhythms can really help us reclaim the connection that we have to ourselves, achieve more balance, and enhance our creative productivity. This is also why we may show up as perhaps 5 different people in 1 month. So like the 24-hour day starts in darkness, so does the menstrual cycle. Our energy is at its lowest in the beginning because our hormones are at their lowest. This is where we are literally letting go of all the things we don't need, whether it's endometrium, blood, even poop, because we tend to poop more at this time. We can talk about that, right? After menstruation, we see a rise in our energy gradually, and that's moving more into this expansive follicular phase. This is kind of like going back to school after a long summer holiday, yeah? Or starting the morning fresh after a really great night of sleep. This rising energy all leads up to the main event of the menstrual cycle, which is ovulation. And this is where hormone levels and energy peaks. It's when our body is literally ready to create, right? This is where we are literally primed to potentially create another human being or human beings. After ovulation, the cycle starts to contract, like the sun starting to set or your focus and patience after a long, long day. And energy levels gradually decrease in what is called the luteal phase. So we have the follicular phase and the luteal phase, especially in the second half of this phase. This is when energy starts to really decrease. This time calls on us to slow down, to unwind, and to prepare for the beginning of a new cycle. So this might be a little complicated to understand, but I've broken it down for you so that we have celebrities to define all these vibes, okay? So estrogen is like our Lizzo, bold, vibrant, full of life and creativity and confidence. She's a magnet. She's telling you, you go girl, you got this, okay? She's the one who makes you want to do, go, and take up space, okay? Here we have testosterone, which peaks here at ovulation, also a little tiny peak right before the period or in the first days of the period. And testosterone is like Serena Williams, okay? Focused, powerful, driven, fueling determination, ambition, and peak performance to push through challenges and make incredible things happen, especially in your sex life, okay? Testosterone and Serena vibes play a huge role in libido, but I think that's quite obvious to some. And then last, but certainly not least, we have progesterone as Billie Eilish. So moody, a little bit more introspective, and deeply intuitive, guiding us inward to slow down, to chill out, and tap into our soulful and creative emotional depths. So why is this so important? Why should we talk about this so much? Why am I so obsessed with this? Well, in the first few minutes here, I was talking to a few people who actually practice this, so maybe afterwards we can hear from people themselves what this has done for them. But essentially, menstrual cycle awareness can help transform all aspects of life. So with regards to empowerment and self-discovery, understanding the cycle's phases can help people own their strengths, whether it's feeling more magnetic at ovulation or feeling more intuitive during menstruation. Also, it creates mental and emotional awareness. So tracking energy shifts reveals patterns, yeah? And so instead of feeling like, oh my God, am I crazy? One can say, okay, this is the deep, soulful Billy me coming out right now. I got it, okay. In terms of physical health, menstrual cycle awareness can help us train smarter, not harder. So lifting heavy in these Lizzo moments, going for that HIIT when energy is high, compared to doing more restorative movement like yoga or long nature walks in our Billy and menstrual phases can really help us to create more of a sense of balance. With regards to productivity and energy management, knowing when the brain is neurologically wired for focus versus creativity versus reflection versus rest means that one can plan their workflow accordingly. How amazing is that? And then last but certainly not least, menstrual cycle awareness strengthens relationships and communication with knowledge and compassion for deep communication and connection. So it can help time hard heart-to-heart conversations. It can also time spicy dates and honor the solo time that is needed to recharge. So I took this even further for y'all. As we move through the menstrual cycle, I want to remind you that our energy is super dynamic, okay? It's not static. It shifts in very unique and very, very powerful ways. Understanding these shifts can help us work with our bodies instead of against them. So, the menstrual phase, phase 1. This is a time for reset, okay? It's literally the reset button. How cool is it that we have a reset button, right? This is where the body is calling for rest and potential reflection. It's a time to plan, to tap into intuition, and to gain clarity, especially towards the end when we get some of those aha moments, especially at the end of the period. The second phase, the follicular phase, which is characterized by rising estrogen is more of an expansion phase. This is when energy starts to build. This is a phase of inspiration, curiosity, problem solving. It's a great time to start new projects, to brainstorm, and to really dream big with your visions. The third phase, which is more of like an event, because menstruation and ovulation are more events, and follicular and luteal are more phases, we can feel this magnetic, social, and expressive energy. So creativity flows because our bodies want to create something. So how we can hone that energy into what we want to create rather than an embryo or a fetus. Confidence is super high, communication is at its sharpest, and this is because estrogen brings in its girl gang of the amazing neurotransmitters that we all love: dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. This is a perfect time for networking, for pitching ideas, or for collaborating with other people. As we swing into this luteal phase, after ovulation, estrogen takes a sharp dip here, as you can, oh, got too close. Sorry. Pink, dip, estrogen. We see that progesterone starts to rise, and this shifts us more into a focused, get things done kind of mode. So we're still creative, but in a more structured way. And this is perfect time for deep work, for admin, those admin tasks that you've been putting off for a long time, and execution, getting stuff done. As we pass this progesterone peak, this is actually the time when the body realizes it's not pregnant because it did everything that it was supposed to do, except for finding that lucky sperm. After this part, and a few days before the period, energy really begins to wind down and sensitivity increases, making us more detail-oriented and emotionally attuned. So this is a great time for boundaries. This is a great time for saying, nein danke, not today, okay? Men, this might be when you seem to get into the same argument with your girlfriend every single month about not taking the trash out again, okay? Or feeling that you can never say the right thing again. This is the time to take a beat, a great time to offer support, ask questions like, hey babe, what do you need? What can I offer you right now? What can I do? Or simply create space for more alone time. As people who menstruate, we are constantly forced to live in a world that's not built for us, and what we need sometimes is just a little bit more alone time, especially in this phase. So while we understand this, and when we understand this, we can unlock a rhythm of creative productivity, a lot of well-being over a few cycles that really helps us work with our biology instead of pushing us through and burning out. So people always ask me, okay, Danielle, great, this is amazing, but how can I start? What does this actually look like? Well, it starts here with all of you. It starts with awareness. It starts with communication. It starts with respect. And it starts with showing encouragement and being supportive, just like my grandpa was for me. It starts with cycle check-ins with yourself, checking in, how do I actually feel today? I like to use a number dial when I wake up. What's my energy? What's my aku like today? Oh, okay, I'm at like a 65. And in the afternoon, friends ask if I want to go out dancing. I'm at like a 32. I'm not going out dancing tonight. Absolutely not. So definitely checking in on our energy levels, and then also checking in on the people that we care about, right? So asking them not just how are you doing, but depending on your level of comfort, how are you doing in relation to your cycle today? Where are you? These check-ins remind us that our energies are not static, they are dynamic, they are cyclical, and definitely not the same as our male counterparts. So this may seem really uncomfortable and maybe even inappropriate at times, but leaning into discomfort is a helpful reminder that this is where we grow. We only grow when we step out of our comfort zones, and change only happens when we're a little uncomfortable. So we all have very important people in our lives, right? We all came from a uterus, right? We all came from this warm, cozy place we didn't really want to leave, whether we were born in India or Germany or the United States. And we all are the product of 9 missed periods, right? So I wanted to kind of end by saying thank you, and also letting you know that there are ways to stay in touch with me, but also that I'm so critically obsessed with this topic that I have been getting such feedback, and I'm offering a series of masterclasses in the next few months, starting with cycles and sex. So this is really jumping into how hormones in the cycle affect libido throughout the month. I really highly encourage men to join. And then also moving into cycle foundation, so getting a way deeper overview than what we talked about here, kind of more nerdy biologically. And then the second session focusing on cycle syncing and cycle intelligence, and really working this out not just in work, but with our workouts, with nutrition, with our self-care routines. And then last but certainly not least is perimenopause prep. So a lot of us are maybe entering this phase already. It is inevitable. There's a lot of hormonal changes, and having the awareness and understanding of how to support ourselves is super critical. I also wanted to let you know that if you are interested in bringing this into your workplace, I give masterclasses, and I also work with Essence, which is an AI-powered workplace tool that helps female employees sync their menstrual cycles with their work schedules so that they can overall express more productivity. The employer has zero access to this data and information, only that the person is using the app. So we can talk more about that. If we go back here to the cycle check-ins, I know it's a little uncomfortable, but I would love for you to start that now. And I will go first, okay? So I'm on day 2 of my menstrual cycle. I'd prefer to be in bed resting. I really was so bummed that I didn't plan this right this month, but you can't plan everything perfectly. I couldn't miss the opportunity to share all this knowledge with all of you here. But my plan is to stay in for the weekend and relax, and also kind of harbor my energy for my follicular phase next week when I go to Mallorca for vacation. Yeah. So with that, I wanted to say thank you so much, and I am open for any and all questions. This is a safe space. No questions are dumb, and the more we know, the more we can support ourselves and each other.